I'm going into this book feeling like I can handle it, but a part of me is still really scared. Hey guys, my name is Angus, and today we're going to be reading, reviewing, and designing a new cover for one of the most banned books of all time. So yeah, this book is so controversial, it was dropped by its original publishers, Simon & Schuster, just 3 months before it was supposed to come out. Vintage Books, who picked up this title for publication after it was dropped, received numerous death threats during the whole publishing process, and this book was trashed and denounced by most critics upon its release. Some even going as far as deeming it the serial killer's Bible. So, yeah, that's a little bit extreme. The book I'm talking about is, of course, American Psycho. I've known about this book for a long time, obviously, since it came out, but I didn't really know the full history behind why it was banned in a lot of countries until recently. And I thought it was really interesting, and I thought it'd make a really fun case study, and then to just kind of take all of this crazy stuff that happened and to use it to kind of design a new cover could be fun. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, I don't know what's going on up here. It's not really working today. First things first, we need to go out and get ourselves a cover. So this is the White Picador Classic paperback that's circulating in Australia. I believe it's the only copy in print here in Australia. It's quite ordinary, apart from two quite jarring things. Number one, the Category 1 restricted sticker that's on the cover. And number two, the fact that it's sold shrink wrapped. This is one of the very few books that is sold shrink wrapped in Australia. And it's really interesting that this was Australia's solution to a banned book. Just wrap it in plastic. I don't know, I thought that was quite funny. But first things first, we kind of need to look at a bit of the history behind the publication of this book. So as I said at the start of this video, American Psycho was slated to be published by Simon & Schuster in 1991. However, just 3 months before it was set to hit shelves, they dropped it due to a media controversy over its alleged sadistic themes. It was an error of judgment to put our name to a book of such questionable taste, is what the CEO of Simon & Schuster had to say about this book at the time. So in quite a bold move and kind of making the most of the situation, Vintage Books picked up American Psycho, and the book was published in March of 1991. The book follows Patrick Bateman, a 26-year-old New York investment banker who's living a double life as a serial killer. It's a graphic, violent, and gruesome exploration into the shallow and vicious aspects of capitalism in a postmodern world where characters are solely concerned with material gain and superficial appearances. To me, as someone who has never read a word of this book or seen the movie, this controversy only makes me more interested to read the book and see what the buzz is all about. It sounds like a really interesting case study, and the fact that this has become a modern classic, I feel like, is a testament to how important this book is. Although to a lot of other people at the time, it provoked an intense fear that led to some world-first reactions. This book was slammed by almost all critics upon release. Letters to the New York Times from the public claimed this repulsive novel will contribute to the violence that afflicts our society and that it will disgrace everyone who tries to profit from it. The Los Angeles Times' rare positive review of the book led to a 3-page spread of like this collage of all these letters of people saying they're going to cancel their subscription because of the review. And the controversy only kind of grew exponentially from there. From 1995 to 2000, this book was classified as harmful to children in Germany, and its sales and marketing were heavily restricted in the country. And in Australia, this book is shrink wrapped and classified as an R18 title under national censorship regulations. This book cannot be sold to anyone under the age of 18, and its sale is theoretically prohibited in the state of Queensland. There is ways around this, but according to state law, this book is banned. So, is it that bad? Today we're going to find out together. I'm going to be sitting down over the next few days to read this book. I'm going to give you updates every day on how I'm feeling, and then at the end we're going to come together and use everything we've kind of discussed about the book to create a new book cover for it, because I don't know, I just wanted to make things fun. I thought it could be fun. Yeah, so before we get into it though, massive trigger warnings. I'm going to put a list in the description because there is so many that come along with this book. Just so you're aware, it's quite intense. I'm going into this book feeling like I can handle it, but a part of me is still really scared. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what the buzz is about, and see if this book should be banned. I'm sure it shouldn't. I'm sure this is just a stupid response of the time. So let's get into it. First things first though, we need to get the shrink wrap off this book. Hi, it's now Sunday afternoon. I've had a bit of a busy weekend, so I haven't read as much as I would have liked to. I'm filming this on my phone, stacked on a stack of books, sitting on my laptop because I couldn't be bothered getting my camera out. So this will have to do. Hopefully the sound is okay. But yeah, I've read about 40 pages of American Psycho, and this book is like superficial chaos. It's disgusting. but I kind of love it. You get thrown right into it from the first chapter. Like, this book does a really good job of throwing you in the deep end and leaving you to drown in a world devoid of compassion and empathy. So that's fun. Nothing crazy graphic has happened yet. But it's just so vulgar the way these characters interact with each other and the world around them. Everyone seems to be like a contradiction of themselves, which I kind of love. Really well written characters, but just chaos, like so much information thrown at you. It's really interesting. I'm actually hooked. Like, I'm really enjoying this. My favorite part so far has been spending a whole entire chapter learning about Patrick Bateman's morning routine. Like, it was just like paragraphs and paragraphs, of like this, like just like crazy ginormous paragraphs, pages of block text, describing Bateman's morning routine. It's just like, it's relentless down to the tiniest detail, but like, you can't look away. Like, I was taking skincare routine tips from a serial killer. And I'm okay with that. Whatever it takes, right? Anyway, one thing I did want to talk about really quickly, which I really, really enjoyed, was Irvine Welsh's introduction to this book. It's actually really good, and it sets up the book really well. And I've revisited it a few times since like reading the paragraphs. I actually highlighted a lot of it. It does a really fantastic job of setting things up. It just kind of enhances the reading experience, I feel like, which is what a good introduction should do. This really good part on the first page, which I think sums up this book really well. American Psycho is one of the two zeitgeist pieces of fiction that defined America at the end of the last century and the start of this one, the other being Fight Club. The latter novel looked at disaffection from the perspective of an excluded new underclass of youth, debt-shackled and devoid of opportunity. American Psycho, on the other hand, focused on the morally bankrupt extreme privilege that has nothing left to exercise but the will towards the self-defeating lust for more. I thought that was really interesting how this is like considered like a direct opposite to Fight Club. And you can see it, like they're almost like direct opposite. Anyway, I'm getting a bit too carried away here. Also, Welsh talks about the controversy around this book, and I think they make a really good point that the most shocking thing about this book shouldn't be the graphic depictions of violence, but rather the fact that Patrick Bateman would probably be held up as an archetypal model of American success if it weren't for the fact that he was a serial killer. Like, it's so true. He's literally so disgustingly corrupt and obsessed with himself, but literally an archetypal cishet white man of the late 20th and 21st century. So yeah, just gonna leave that there. Very interesting. I'm gonna keep reading, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far. And yeah, I'm interested to see if that changes when things start getting graphic. Not what I was expecting, but cool. I don't know. I like it. I like when books do this. So yeah, I'll catch up with you soon. Yeah, I'm going to do some more reading. It'll be fun. I'll talk to you later. Maybe I'll comb my hair so it looks a bit better for my next update. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. Oh my God. It looks so bad. So, it's winter here in Australia, and my hair goes through like seasonal coloring, like from the ocean. Like, if I'm swimming in the salt water, it'll go blonder, and the sun makes it blonder. But in winter, it tends to go like darker. So I was like, I kind of want to make it a bit blonde again because I'm sick of having dark hair. So I dyed it, and it looks kind of awful. That's the new title of this video. American Psycho did this to me. So anyway, besides that, we can ignore the elephant in the room. American Psycho. I am like halfway through now. Halfway, yeah. Yes, it did get very graphic very quickly. It's weird. It kind of like weaves its way in. We'll just be having like a normal conversation about clothes because Patrick Bateman loves to talk about his clothes. And then boom, he just mentions that he has like a severed head in his fridge. It just kind of slipped in there, which was like, I had to do a few like double takes to kind of get what was going on. There's more. We're starting to get our first little glimpses of Patrick kind of unraveling, because I feel like that's where this is going. He's going to unravel, and kind of the monster's going to come out in full force. He's starting to get irritated by a lot of things and have little like moments concerning. This book is homophobic. It's not that there's so many like homosexual undertones that our wonderful cishet white Wall Street men in their 20s not a big fan of. They're pretty grossed out by the fact that they kind of are into each other. It's weird. They're like f***ing in love with each other, but they're like, no homo, dude. You know what it's, you know. One thing that I love is that Patrick Bateman is obsessed with like this fictional morning talk show called The Patty Winter Show. Like every single chapter, he's like, oh, the Patty Winter Show this morning, they talked about this, and I thought this, and I liked it because of this. Or like, oh, Damn, I missed the Patty Winter show this morning because I was busy severing a fucking head in my basement. It gets quite annoying very quickly, but I read up somewhere that the Patty Winter show is like a litmus test on Patrick's mental stability. Like, if the show's talking about crazy stuff like UFO encounters, then he's gonna have a really rough, crazy day. If it's like more normal stuff, he'll have it, you know, it kind of like reflects, which I thought was really cool. It's like he goes through like these hallucinatory states. It's like manic. This is manic, but I'm enjoying it, and it's written so well. Another thing that really irks me is how like in detailed we get descriptions of people's clothes. Like whenever we go out, Patrick just is like, this person was wearing this, and it's like a page of like, they wore these cufflinks, the hair was styled with this gel, the shoes look like this, they weren't shined properly. Like he full on analyzes everyone and what they're wearing. But it's written in a way that's not like, it's not boring. It's just like, this is too much. Anyway, this guy's whack and I love it, but I'm interested to see how crazy things are getting, because it's getting graphic, but it's not grossed out. There was a scene of like animal cruelty that really freaked me out because I can't, no thanks. But other than that, it's been manageable. The main thing is like, you feel it's like paranoia fueled, and not because the character's in any danger. It's just like, my God, this guy lives this horrible, wealthy life, and it's, so bad, so gross. But yeah, well, today was great. Can't wait for tomorrow. I don't know what to do about my hair, guys. Like, I have work tomorrow. I can't go to work looking like this. Look at it. Definitely can't wear this. This is like awful. Like this is like orange. Anyway, that's it for now. That's all my notes that I took down. I am enjoying it. I don't have any ideas for the cover yet. I mean, I do really like this cover. I think it works so well. I love this like thumbprint. It's almost as if like when you held the book. Guilty. Anyway, I'm gonna go deal with my hair. So I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey guys, I just wanted to check in quickly because it's been a little bit. It's now Thursday, and I actually ended up going away. So it's been a bit weird, but I'm actually away, so I'm not at home at the moment. But I did want to say that I am like 100 pages from the end of this, like very close to the end. And some really fucked up stuff is starting to happen, and it's making me very uncomfortable. So it's been not very pleasant. Like I feel like enjoying is a strong word, and I'm not going to use that word here because I'm not sure about that anymore. Like, it's good. It's really good. It's one of those books that is like, this is a really good book, but I'm not having a fun time anymore. It's driving me a little bit insane. But I digress. I have 100 pages left. I just wanted to come on and say that, hey, I have 100 pages left. I'm probably going to finish it very soon. I'm starting to think a little bit about the cover, and I have a few ideas, but I think I'm going to go into like a more depth section in this video where I talk about my ideas for the cover and we do it. So yeah, that's it for now. I probably won't update again until I finish this book or something crazy happens. So I'll see you then. Bye. Hi, I'm back. I'm finished. I finished American Psycho last night, and thank God. I don't know how much longer I could stay with this character for, because it was driving me a little bit insane. So yeah, for the best, I think. Anyway, one thing to note, this book ends really weirdly. Like, it just kind of fizzles out and just ends. When I first read it, I was like, what is that? Like, am I missing pages? I mean, like, there's an afterword, but it's not part of the story. But the more I thought about it, the more it kind of made sense, that this is all that was going to happen. There were no consequences for anything. But anyway, I don't want to spoil things, but yeah, finished. My final thoughts, not like anything I was expecting, unsettling, hard to do, but good, but really good, really well written. Like, it's so, kind of get into the rhythm of the way this book is written and learn how to take in the amount of information that is kind of thrown at you. Not as graphic as I thought it would be. It is, but like not as frequently. Like, there's not a whole heap of gory scenes, but when there is a gory scene, it's dialed up to 11. It's insane. We don't linger on them too long. It's just kind of like, blah, 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 here's all this vomit, and then, okay, now we're at lunch. Cool. But all in all, yes, this is a good book, and it is well written, and it's a really good case study, I think, for like, he's kind of like the ultimate anti-hero of the late 20th and early 21st century, and it's become so popular, this Patrick Bateman character, that I think it's, you know, a testament to how important this book is. Postmodernism, I don't know, speaking literary crap now. But yeah, I mean, it is a very postmodern text, but it kind of has to be. The ultimate question is, of course, did this book deserve all the hate it got when it came out? And my answer is, of course, no, it didn't. I mean, it's like, it's an intense book, but it's not like spreading demonic propaganda like some random woman said in the New York Times in 1991. Everything that's in this book deserves to be there. And it is a reflection of society at the time and how society still is now. Everything in this book rings true. And like I said earlier in this video, the scariest part about this book should not be all the gory and graphic scenes, but rather the fact that Patrick Bateman is literally like a mirror image of what the ideal man of the late 20th century was. And maybe that's what people were actually so scared about, but they didn't realize. Like, hold a mirror up to society and they're gonna try and censor it. Like, it makes sense. Anyway, onto the cover design. I have a few ideas, but I'm really keen to just get cracking and experiment. My main big thing is that I do not want to use the color red, because I feel like every design I've seen of this book relies on the color red in some capacity. Even here, it's only little, but it's literally the only color there. So I want to steer away from that. And I also want to design something that maybe is a little bit interactive. I have a few ideas, some flaps or something that like reveal more, but I'll get into that properly in the design part, which is I'm going to do right now. I'm going to jump onto Photoshop and just play around. So let's get into that. So the only kind of main idea I had going into this design process was the fact that I wanted to use bones as like a symbol of stripping back a character to its most like raw primal form, because I feel like that's what American Psycho does with Patrick Bateman. So initially I kind of wanted to have this hybrid pelvis and skull that formed a scary mask, because if you've read the book you'll know the significance of the pelvis, but that didn't work. So instead I went for this like old anatomy sketch, and I looked at this and I thought, wow, that kind of looks like a model pose. And so I kind of spliced two ideas together. I decided to make the cover look like it was a page out of an Armani fall catalog from the 90s, but with like a skeleton instead to give it like a gruesome twist. And you know how certain things in catalogs have like that little, they have like a dotted line to like more information and like a close-up of the item and the price tag. I wanted to add that in there with a bit of a twist. So instead of clothes, it was referring to different like body and bone parts with like a little paragraph that was like, you know, like severed human hand, like pure bone, polished, $1,800. I don't know if this is too on the nose, but I think it really kind of suits the book well, considering how many brand names Patrick Bateman drops throughout the whole thing, and his obsession with the labels and fashion mixed with these cannibalistic serial killer tendencies. I mean, it kind of fits perfectly. And so then from there, I wanted to incorporate this whole like restricted sticker stuff that's going on, but I didn't want it to be, I wanted it to be a little bit different. So I decided, instead of having like it plastered across the cover, I wanted it to kind of like bleed out from underneath. So I designed the cover to have like this ripped edge flap. You know how paperbacks have that flap that's usually under the cover that has all good reviews on it? Well, I wanted to subvert that and instead like fill the page with all of the like most scathing reviews of the book that came out at the time of the book's release. So, you know, you've got stuff like, this is vile and disgusting, New York Times, or like, don't let anyone read this, it's satanic, blah, 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 from Washington Post. So all these like high profile people and companies like denouncing this book. And I just thought that was, I don't know, I thought that was pretty clever, because like, imagine picking up a book and seeing all of these horrible reviews saying how disgusting and terrible this book is. Like, that's going to make you interested and kind of consider picking up the book because you want to know about the buzz. So I don't know, I think it works quite well. And then from there, like just placing the title, it took a while to figure out where to put the title because it didn't seem to fit at the top. So I ended up putting it down the bottom and have it like a little bit misplaced with the author name up the top. And then just to fill in some space, I added some more of those like brand label things with price tags just around the body, like more of them, and some around the title. And I added, what did I add up the top? Like something like the controversial bestseller above the author name. But yeah, I think this came together pretty well. I'm actually quite happy with this, and I love the like very simple color palette of the bright yellow and the black and white. It's almost like a press kind of a newspaper style, and I love it. Alrighty guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've read this book, what you think. Let me know what you think of the new cover. And yeah, as always, I'll see you next time in another video. Bye.